we gotta talk about the latest episodes of One Piece. Being so caught up to the manga, sometimes you forget little bits until you see the story animated, and bam, the last couple episodes have been cooking in the fields department. We have taken a little bit of a break from the action on Eken, yeah, right after Saint Saturn made his drop. But bro, what better timing than now to get into a story that's been speculated on for years now? And these backstory episodes is some of Oda's sweetest work. We started One Piece wanting to know what was ahead of us, and now that we're so close, we still have so much to learn about the Void Century and all that's behind us. One of those untold stories has been the Garp Valley incident, and man, do we have some deep backstorytelling. So let's quickly dive into the latest episodes of One Piece because it's packed with some serious powerhouses in their prime. We really got into the dark side of One Piece during the final half of episode 1129, right after we're left with an almost dying Luffy, a laid-out Sanji, and Bonnie in the hands of Saint Saturn. We get some Kuma backstory. As soon as he was born, he has been a target for his Buccaneer blood. Bro's parents been hiding out all this time but still managed to have a kid, right? They have just been hiding out in this little village, and they had a little secret with the doctor in the same village who was their friend. Until that same doctor went and sold them out to the government after a couple of years. Ankh got a big payday, but they took the entire family in for just being straight up an illegal race. Alright, you're following. Good. So after they took them in, it didn't take very long for the Celestial Dragons to kill his mom. They kept him and his Buccaneer dad alive on chains as pets. They did get to link up in the yard sometimes, so his dad told him about his mom, but he also started telling Kuma about the Nika, the great sun god of liberation, and to just keep being strong until the sun god of liberation comes and free him. Then let me tell you how sick these Celestial Dragons are, bro. This then is just doing his little dance, and this dragon man comes and pops this man in the back, right in front of Kuma. Yes, bro, real. Flip the switch because things just went dark. Right after this, though, we get introduced to the Celestial Dragons, a version of the Hunger Games, and we got this big introduction ceremony. This event is being held in an unaffiliated nation. This nation is of course inhabited with people, so they will become the hunted. And this broadcast is brought to you from the island of God Valley. The incident, however, started with the introduction of a young and blonde Saint Fingalin Garland, who slays the king of this island and is one of the top dogs in this game. Kuma and the other slaves that were brought from the Holy Land are considered as special rabbits. During the ceremony though, our boy Kuma bends some steel and escapes. Then he immediately gets tracked down by some other slaves. Then he runs into Ivankov and a small and tiny genie who help to spread some hope to Kuma. But of course him and Genie, they are also slaves in this game. But they got some tricks and they've got a plan. You see, it might be Genie who completely is responsible for this competition going so bad. For a kid, she's got some super genius skills, bro. Okay, but first we actually get into this hunt during episode 1130, Fambo. So they gotta be running from the Celestial Dragons and the military. Plus, we actually have Saint Saturn himself at this event, which is why he's so heavily connected to the torturing past of Kuma. Then we get a cut that reveals the first leak, and the Navy headquarters is calling in a young Garp who's just chilling, having some little leisure time, and he's like, oh, is that just the Celestial Dragon's little school trip? He doesn't want any part of that, but he also knows that they have some stolen treasure from Pirate Island. But then guess who's also involved? Yeah, so listen, this man got word that Rojo is going to be dropping in as well, and Garp is like quickly changing his mind. It's sick to see how this all actually started, since from the stories we already know that Garp was the big hero in the news of the God Valley incident. So this man was called after just being lounging around the pool with some sweet ladies, having a good time, but now he has to go and see what type of trouble Roger is up to. Alright, so we do see pirates from the beehive begin to sail first, and we know that something is up. And during all this times, the games have begun, right? So during the chaos with the troops Ivankov have gathered, we hear that Ginny's the one who's able to wiretap and hack and provide leaks to other pirates. And she's the one who actually got them to come to this island. And why, you might ask? Well, for the prizes in this competition. They happen to be some devil fruits, and these were the treasures that were stolen from the Rocks pirates. Which just goes to show that Blackbeard is just the modern-day Rocks. Even back then, they were collecting fruits to have the strongest crew ever. Alright, so Ginny's idea is to use the devil fruit prizes as a way to escape by leaking information to the pirates about where they are. So her intel is deep. She knows that they have a dragon fruit, and one whose ability is to send people far away. And they want one of them to be able to at least escape this island, right? So it's Kuma and Ivankov who go on this stealth mission to get these fruits. And I'm not sure what type of security they had, but during all of this chaos, they actually end up finding them. And of course, it's anime, so they waste a bunch of time to eat them. But that's alright, because we get the introduction of a prime Rocks crew. We're talking Stussy on Newgates, brought back a young snake princess Gloriosa. Dude, we got Shiki with some crazy aura, and Tam. Big Mom is looking sweet in this era of her career. And Kaido is just a kid in the crew, without his devil fruit, of course, because his dragon fruit is the one in this competition. We even got Silver Axe on screen. But of course, we still don't get to see Rocks himself. Bro, the things One Piece do to us. And right after the Rocks Pirates drop, we got the Roger Pirates, Scopper, Rayleigh. The entire crew comes crashing in very Straw Hat Pirate-like, with no real destination, with no real direction, just complete madness. These legends in their prime form during this episode just made it such an exciting watch. Although we don't get to see much about what really happened here, we still see our favorite heroes and our favorite villains in their prime. Yeah, so during all of this celebrity introduction, Kuma and Ivankov got the fruits. But before they can eat them, Big Mom busts them and takes the dragon fruit from Eva, who, of course, gives Kuma some time to run off with the Pawpaw fruit. And he then eats it, but then immediately runs into Saint Saturn, who lets him know, boy, you were born to be a slave. And then this scene, after some time, it cuts, and the crew is, of course, saved by now, which indicates that Kuma's power might have kicked in and they were able to escape while the pirates made their mess until Garp came and settled everything. Then we got Kuma and Ginny trying to live a happy little life after this whole sadness together as little kids, and they're creating their little life. They're having their little following inside this little church, and that's how this history lesson up the God Valley incident went in these episodes, guys. And we do have some more of it coming next week, so let me know in the comments what's been your favorite parts of these new episodes ever since One Piece came back. I hope you're excited to see the story unfold, the story we love so deeply and so dearly get animated so beautifully. So, see you later, fam. Notifications on, because I might just post another video soon, right?